This is David Rosales with Strength Inc. coming back with you with Ed Coan.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Got some questions here from our Facebook users, the members on the website, and all across the internet. We're going to start with Matt from Facebook. He asked this question, Ed: what is the best assistance exercise to help bring up your deadlift?
Well, it would help if I knew what kind of deadlift you do, whether it's conventional style or sumo style. I'm guessing conventional, so for me it would be actually high bar squats with a closer stance and stiff leg deadlifts. And the only other thing, that's not a deadlift or a leg exercise is bent over rows. Was my favorite exercise. That strength in the upper back to be able to keep your chest up so your back doesn't round over. That was the best.
Good insight. All right, Saletti from Facebook says, what do you do when you have joint pain?
Well, it all depends what the joint pain is caused by. Is it, is from, muscle, tendon, ligament, or is it just joint inside the joint? Which usually, a couple of leave or a light anti-inflammatory, a little ice. If it persists, then, some more stretching. Go to the doctor and find out what the heck is going on.
Okay. Now you mentioned ice. Is it better to use ice or heat when you have joint pain?
Depending, for so many hours, like 48 to 72 hours afterwards, they say ice. I never had a problem using ice whenever I was too sore or achy myself, but I'd prefer to take a hot shower, ice, and then after it cools down, stretch out a little bit.
Good insight. All right, Ken Johnson from the website has this excellent question here. He says, first of all, he really likes the videos. Thanks, Ken. And he's pretty new to powerlifting. He's been in bodybuilding over the past few years and doesn't really like the way that his physique has developed. So he's switching his workouts to more of a powerlifting style. So he was wondering, what would be a good outline to complete in terms of exercise reps and splits? Join the membership, Ken. For me, I really like the Russian style. I hear so many good things about that system. I've tried starting strength, Bill Starr, Weller 531, and most 5x5 programs, but I need more than that than what these programs are basically offering me. Something like the Russian powerlifting style, heavy emphasis on that. Hopefully you can help me or guide me in the right direction. Here's his workout as follows. His workout A, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, is 3x5 squat, 3x5 bench, and 1x5 deadlift. Workout B, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3x5 squat, 3x5 standing military press, and a 3x5 pendley rows or bent over rows. And that's how he usually finishes up with his bodybuilding routine with a high weight and a low volume. He says his gym has no change, no special equipment, just standard commercial stuff. Can you help me out, Ed?
I can. It sounds to me like you're trying to be a little too much of an overachiever. You're trying to do way too much and make it too complicated. What they usually say is KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And not calling you stupid, but that's usually the adage that they go by. You're trying to make it way too difficult. All those routines are good, but you're with the heavy bodybuilding and so much of it, you're trying to do too much, you won't be able to recover. The Russian style is great, but it's a real lot of volume and a lot of time. You got to have spotters almost all the time to help you out. 3x5 is great for Wendler. It's pretty darn simple. Not a lot of assistance exercise, but you work real hard. 5x5 is hard, long. You can feel a lot of growth, but there's not a lot of place to go with 5x5 on the way up. I need a little bit heavier weight, triples and doubles and stuff at the end. What worked for me was just exactly what I had on the website, a simple linear periodization, and take your time with it. Don't set your goals so high that you start missing reps or missing the weight you're supposed to handle. You and the routine have to become one after a while, so it may take you 2 or 3 training cycles to lay down a good base before you can start developing exactly how you want to.
Absolutely. This is Jimmy from the website. He says his current squat is 315 by 5. He's been stuck on that number for about a month. What can he do to get past that weight? Is there any kind of a special assistance exercise that he can do? That's the first half of his question. Part 2 is that, is 315, so that much weight, is that okay to do knee wraps on? Is it even worth it? Hits 15, he's looking for some professional advice.
At 15, I'd say as long as his form's correct, he doesn't need knee wraps. And as far as the weight he's stuck at, 315 for 5, if you're trying to do 315 for 5 all the time and you're missing it, then you got to change up because you keep missing. The best thing to do is start off at 10s, so many weeks at 10s, so many weeks at 8s, work up in your 5s, triples, doubles. You got to get stronger, and you're not getting stronger trying to take the same weight every single week and miss it.
Okay. Now, is there any kind of an assistance exercise that he can do to kind of help pull him up?
No, assistance exercise is just that. It just kind of assists your squat and your bench and your deadlift or whatever just a little bit. It's kind of an insurance policy, make sure everything's developed. You don't have a weakness. It sounds like him, his weakness is he's overtraining or trying to hit the same weight all the time.
Okay. Right. This is also from the website. This is from Steve. He says, hey, Ed, I don't understand your 8-week peak cycle. You say to do 3 sets of 10 and then pyramid 10, 5, 2. Does this mean work up heavier to a set of 2 reps? Can you elaborate a little bit more, basically?
Let's say you just had to do, I had on there, you had to do 400 for 10 that day.
Yep.
Well, you take 135 for a couple sets of 10, maybe 2 1/4 for 5, 315 for a couple, 365 for 1, and then your heavy set of 4 or 5. You don't want to burn out with all the reps on the earlier sets when the top one needs the most.
Right. Okay. Excellent. All right, we're with our more Facebook questions here. Again, this is Strength Inc. at Coan. Mikey Gorman says this: do you, like Dr. Hatfield recommended, breaking parallel for the squat, raw, this is emphasis, and how often do you recommend trying to break a PR?
I recommend breaking parallel all the time because you have to break parallel in a contest. So how you practice is how you're going to perform in a meet. So definitely breaking practice parallel, whether you're raw or with equipment, all the time. As far as breaking a PR, it kind of happens every training cycle. You lay down a new base after every training cycle, but you lay it down where your gains are just small, and over time you build till you've got this huge, giant lift. It's not like from one training cycle to another. Unless you first start, you're not going to make these dramatic gains. So take your time; they come.
Okay. Great. This question is also from Facebook. It's David Whitfield. He says, for raw wide grip bench, do you see any difference between pushing in a J curve or pushing the bar in a straight line? Question number 1.
For a wide grip bench, the length that you push the bar is so much shorter. So there's going to be less of a groove. Okay. So it's more straight because it's so wide.
Okay. Good to know. Also, how do you feel about wearing weightlifting shoes to deadlift conventional? And then he kind of answers his own question here. If it improves safety and mobility for an individual due to leverages.
Well, if your problem was mobility and lack of leverages, then if you put on shoes on and it helps, then you kind of answered your own question.
Right.
Whatever works is what you do. Sometimes you got to try shoes that you think fit your body type or fit your style of lifting, before you can actually choose which one that works.
Okay, great. This question is from Patrick on Facebook. He says, should I squat and deadlift heavy both in the same week or stagger them from week to week? That's his first question.
Depending on how old you are and what your recovery rate is. Nowadays, once in a while I have to take a little bit of a down week and just go real light so I can recover to be able to go heavy the next week. So when I was younger, I went heavy in all of them all the time without that much of problem. But it's how you structure your schedule, your routine out. I had the weights set every week and I didn't vary from. Just because you feel good on this one set doesn't mean the next week you go up higher than you were supposed to, because then it messes up the whole end of the peaking cycle.
Okay, good point. This is a second half of his question. He says, and also, is it acceptable to use a super or a hex bar during my heavy deadlifts? And is there a way to tie together the transition to heavy deadlift and an Olympic bar? What's your suggestion?
Whichever bar you're usually going to use in a contest, if you're going in a contest, use. If not, a hex bar, one of those other bars where you stand in the middle and it's on the side, it's a whole different feel. It works a little bit different than a regular deadlift would with an Olympic weightlifting bar. So I would say use the Olympic weightlifting bar as long as you don't have any injuries, or if that's what you're trying to get good at.
Okay, fantastic. And the Olympic weightlifting bar is pretty much what you're going to have to use in any kind of a competition anyway.
Yes.
All right. So how would you structure? This is from Rob Burke from Facebook. How would you structure squatting for a person who finds high rep sets to be very tough on their elbows?
I would probably change where you grab the bar. Usually that seems to be a problem. Usually it happens if you're too tight in. Puts a lot more strain on the elbows and triceps.
Okay.
It could be that, or it could be your grip, or as far as wrapping all the way around the grip, or using a suicide grip.
Okay.
And that depends on how your elbows are here. And just by widening, it takes a lot of stress off your elbows. I tore the flexor tendon in my forearm before because I used to squat real close. And I had to widen it out, and it worked out fine. I didn't have any stress anymore. Sounds more like what it's from.
Okay, so widen that grip. All right, the next question from Billy Walsh, also from Facebook, says, how many calories did you eat a day when you were at 180 pounds?
Fortunately, when I was at 180 pounds, it was 1984 was the last contest. So I was still 20 years old, and I didn't have to worry about my diet. So it was basically about making weight. I always kind of watched as far as got enough nutrition and protein that I needed. Then if I wanted to cheat, I cheated. I never counted calories. I'd look in the mirror and check the scale all the time for me.
Okay, great. This is John Petruzzi from Facebook as well. It says, with some of your injuries as far as strains and muscle tears, did you do too much rehab work and mobility stretching, or did you just rest? So was it more rehab work or was it more rest?
All of it. Rest is part of rehab. I got massages. I went to the chiropractor. I iced. I tried to do light stressing. Didn't do enough. And rested when I had to. So it all comes together.
Okay. Now, in terms of nagging injuries, did you have anything that was nagging or lingering that seemed to flare up throughout your competition?
I did have some muscle tears, but they never held me up for very long. And as long as your program is set up to where you're not overtraining and let's say your technique is perfected, then usually you're not going to have that many problems. Just the usual little bit of wear and tear, little aches and pains, a little stretching or ice or whatever is always going to help.
Absolutely. Okay. This is from Andrew Richardson, also on Facebook, says, what are the best exercises, rep and sets for increasing 1 rep max on the squat and 1 rep max on the bench?
Exercises and sets?
That's what he says. Best exercises, rep and sets.
Well, besides the actual movement themselves, the other ones are just assistance exercise to help with a little bit of balance or a tiny little bit of weakness.
Right. We've got a full guy there.
I always did some light leg extensions and leg curls for around the knee, front and back of the knee. I didn't do that many leg presses. I didn't do that many hack squats. I did, like I said, either pause squats or high bar closer stand squats for my quads. For the bench, it was heavy close grips and inclines and tricep work. And deadlift was stiff leg deadlifts and bent over rows. That's pretty much it.
There you go.
Simple.
John Ambrose has this question. We see a lot of lifters today that have physical talent but lack the mental capacity that lifters such as you, Ed, have had over the years. How important is it to be mentally prepared as well as physically prepared for a contest or even a workout every day?
Sometimes it's not as much the mental as it is their work ethic, what they're taught. And that comes down to how bad do you want it. If you want it bad enough, you're going to get your ass in the gym and do the work you're supposed to. If you're just screwing around, there's a lot of guys out there that can run, jump, lift, and do whatever they want that are unbelievable athletes, and they never go anywhere because they won't want it bad enough. It's pretty simple.
Good point. This is from Joshua on Facebook, says, what are your thoughts, yes, it seems like we answer this question weekly, on Westside as you yourself use a progressive overload?
The reason I never tried Westside because what I was doing worked.
Right.
I'm not saying their way doesn't work, but I think for more raw or less equipped, I think regular linear periodization, 5x5, some of Josh Bryan's stuff, I think that stuff works the best. I think Westside works better with the more equipped, like more multiply equipment, but they do have some cool assistance exercises.
Okay, good to know, good to know. This is from Dean Gartland, again from Facebook, says, what do you think of the cube method?
I haven't tried it, but a guy named Brandon Lilly kind of invented it, and he used to be a Westside follower, so he tried to come up with a way to incorporate a few different styles together, and so far for him it's working. So with a lot of different things, a lot of times you don't know unless you try it. As long as it's simple and as long as you follow what you're supposed to, don't set your goals too high and screw up. A lot of them pretty much work. It's just, how far do they work? Everything works up to a point.
Gotcha. Okay. And our last question here is from Matthew Honeycutt. He says, what do you think about multiply gear? Henry Thomason said he can't even bench 400 raw or barely could and has benched 850 in a shirt. A 400 pound plus carryover sounds crazy. I got the Facebook post where he said, and he said that he was able to prove it. So yeah, that's kind of drastic, a 400 pound increase without a shirt.
Yeah, well, I came from a little bit different era where we didn't use as much equipment. But if he's going in a meet that allows multiply equipment, and I know Henry, very nice guy, then you got to do what your competition does. So in that respect, yeah, it's fine, but there's nothing like getting stronger.
Right.
The stronger, if you got his bench up to 500, then who knows? Maybe he'll bench 1,000 with the shirt.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
Nothing beats getting stronger, regardless.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps it up for our Facebook questions. You're free to send in more questions. We do this every single Thursday, or you can log on to strengthinc.com, check us out on our contact page, and we definitely encourage you to join. Ed, final thoughts?
We have T-shirts on our site now. You can order them too. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.